Hello, Internet. This is Noir Conversation. I am Grease Noir, and today I want to talk a little bit about Tucker Carlson. So let's talk about it. For anybody unaware of who Tucker Carlson is, he is Fox News premier primetime show host. Uh, he has the most watched show on television. He is Fox News' golden boy. Millions of people watch his show per night. And you may wonder, well, what are they watching? They are watching a rich guy put a white spin on everything. That might sound controversial, but it is what it is. Tucker Carlson comes out every night to attack anything that would dismiss white superiority in America, or for the world, for that matter. His premier targets are women, people of color, immigrants. He doesn't like anything that messes with white. Keep your colors away from the whites. But recently I don't know, America's, I wouldn't say, I want how should I word this? I want to say America's reemergence of white supremacy, but it never went nowhere. It was just it was undercover, hidden. Actually, it wasn't even hidden. People proudly flew their Confederate flags, and so it was just not being discussed openly, like for what it is. So it was allowed to survive as long as it has, because honestly, it should be done over with by now. But Tucker Carlson, he on his show, it's his show, of course, but I wonder how he gets away with saying exactly what he says on public television, on a high profile network like that. It baffles my mind. I don't know what to, every time I hear something about Tucker Carlson, I wonder, they have, like, the execs at Fox News have to be in on this. They know what he is, and they're just holding on to their, just, no integrity. They're just holding on to their golden goose. He can spread as much hatred as he and vitriol as he wants, as long as he brings in the dough, which I think is the most foul. You know what I mean? Tucker Carlson should be, kicked out of the house, but these guys, the guys that propel him upward, like in that manner, for that money, those are the worst. But I'm sticking with Tucker Carlson because he's the one out there every night trying to make white people feel as if uh, being as hateful as they are is just patriotic. No. Um. Uh. Lately, America has taken. I want to say, or at least put his eye on what is causing white right wingers to grab their guns and go willy nilly at churches and malls and recently FedEx. What makes them think that's the go-to move? And that has called into question our viewpoint on white supremacy and race in America and the history of it. And lately, people have started to highlight exactly what is continuing to propel white supremacy on in the minds of people, and how it continues to survive. How do these people come to this this radicalized proposition? And one of those people is who propels radicalized ideas under the guise of intellectual conversation and just humble observation. It's Tucker Carlson. He's out there every night trying to put a white spin on things, and trying to make it more palatable and intellectual to argue for in public discourse. But and for all the people that think that he might not, that he's not as vitriolic as a right-wing shooter, or the guys that grab the gun, and Tucker Carlson isn't that bad, even if he is bad. Okay, he's not the guy pulling the trigger, but he is the guy over his shoulder telling him to do it. He is the guy over the shoulder telling him that this is what America needs, that this is your American duty. If there's an angel over your shoulder, there's a devil over it as well. Tucker Carlson and people like him, who are in the same boat, are the devils over the shoulder. They get away with not being the trigger puller, the trigger finger. They're not the trigger finger, but they are the guy that those people think about. There's a video online done by Trevor Noah and the crew over at The Daily Show. I want to play it for you guys real quick. It's only about 56 seconds. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and get this played.
If you use the term replacement, the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. That's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it. That's true. Democrats know if they keep up the flood of illegals into the country, they can eventually turn it into a flood of voters for them. When you offer someone citizenship, free health care, free education, housing vouchers, and free food, all things they don't have in their own country, their political success does not depend on good policies, but on demographic replacement, and they'll do anything to make sure it happens. So every time they import a new voter, I become disenfranchised as a current voter. They're diluting it. No, they're not allowed to do that. Why are we putting up with this?
For all those that may not have caught that, what we have was Tucker Carlson's verbiage, and at the bottom of the video there was the manifesto lines from two manifestos from two I want to say terrorist shootings in 2019. As you can see, Tucker Carlson held the same. Actually, I'm gonna reverse that. The manifestos held the same opinions that Tucker Carlson had. And Tucker Carlson has been spitting that's the same vitriol for about close to 2 decades, ever since he first appeared on a televised network. Nothing he said has changed. Like nothing. Like it's the same thing. He just keeps trying to he just keeps trying to reappropriate it for the times. Like just wrap it up, repackage it, throw it back out there every night. Every night. Every night. Every night. And you don't think that radicalizes people? That might not seep in even the hardest individual who might see it for what it is at the beginning can still be pulled in. So imagine our older generations who still watch TV without a reflection to bounce off of, just to make sure uh, they get a proper intellectual output of ideas. Most people don't get that. They don't have people in their circles who have a differing opinion, and because of that, they're in their bubbles, and they get pulled into a bubble within a bubble. And that's what we have with Tucker Carlson. He pulls every uh, right winger into a radicalized Ku Klux Klan white is right, white is might opinion. Even if they don't believe so, even if they never thought of it like that, they come away with that thinking when they leave the bubble and interact with people at work, or go get a coffee at Starbucks. Deep in their heads, they're thinking this. Tucker Carlson is bouncing around in their head, living in it. And at some point, you begin to believe what's you're being told. No proof of what he just said. Just nothing but fear upon fear. He in the video he talked about fear of people of color coming into this nation and and devaluing the votes, the standard quo. And what is the standard quo? Everybody knows, every person of color knows what the standard quo is in America is white. That's what they fear. The white vote will be uh, outvoted by people of color. They fear that change. Why? Because their message is horrible. They fear losing the top standing. Not because you deserve it, not because you earned it, not because your message gravitates towards everyone. No, you just fear it because you know you don't deserve it. It's a rich guy telling a bunch of working, poor, white people who feel misplaced or feel left behind that the other person is the problem. All the others, black people are dangerous. Mexicans are let me see, Hispanics are rapists and murderers. Immigrants, they're thieves and they steal our jobs and our wages. And no, none of that's true. Stats bear it out. Black people aren't dangerous. White people are more likely to die at the hands of white people than any other people. And crime is is uh, a result of being poor and desperate. We keep people poor and desperate in America, and they commit crimes to survive. White people commit crimes, black people commit crimes, Hispanics commit crimes, Asians commit crimes. Majority of which poor, desperate, trying to get by. And Tucker Carlson's viewpoint, dismantle social programs, because those also topple the top standing. Because, like I said, Tucker Carlson is a rich man telling poor people what to do, who they should be mad at. Why? Because underneath that racism is classism. He makes them think he's one of them, but he's not. He's been a millionaire all his life. Like, he's the heir to the Swanson throne. You know what I'm saying? He is the frozen food company, like, multi-millionaires. And Tucker gets on TV, and within Fox, he makes maybe over 30-40 million a year. And yet poor whites believe that he's telling them who's the problem. Really, dude? That the Mexican is the reason you're starving? You should be mad at the black people because they won't do what's necessary to fit in? Really, dude? You don't fit into Tucker Carlson's world. That's the problem. We all see this type of villain in movies, TV shows. We recognize it full on what he's doing. We know he's the bad guy. And yet, he pulls people in, regardless. Regardless. They get suckered into this thinking. And it just vexes me how America allows this to continue. How we've allowed this type of activity, this type of coercion to be as profitable and as successful as it has been. He actively tells people that America doesn't need diversity. That is one of America's core values, diversity. What he's telling you to do is go against America. He's just one route to get there. One route to take you from proper from a proper valuable active contributing member of society to a radicalized right wing, destroy the government, forget him, F America individual. And it's dangerous, and I just can't understand how we let this continue. How we can let this man come out on TV, misuse facts and statistics, corrupt minds, and be as poisonous as he has been. Like we know how dangerous Tucker Carlson is, and people like him. This isn't free speech. This is just poison. Period. Like he can say what he want to say, but why do we put this mic in front of him? Why do we allow him to have a mic in front of him? Why do we pay him millions of dollars to do this? It is horrible, dude. He fights for white nationalists every night. Um, for those that may not believe that though, there was an interview that Van Jones did in 2019 with Derek Black. Derek Black is the son of Don Black, Ku Klux Klan, KKK, Grand Wizard. He began Stormfront, the one of no the I had it right, the most popular hate site on the internet right now. Um, Derek Black used to be a white nationalist himself. He used to think, not think, he was indoctrinated by his family to believe white people are the right people for the country. Um, but luckily for him, he went off to college and experienced other cultures. They were able to free him from that hole he was in, and he gave an interview with Van Jones on what Tucker Carlson means to his family. Like I said, uh, his dad is Don Black, head of Stormfront, a right wing hate site that pulls people in. So he needs to advertise and sign up. Needs people to advertise with and sign up for his site. That's his thing. To multiply his message by multiplying people. So, and this is what he said about Tucker Carlson. When Van Jones asked about does it alarm you, when he was talking about Fox anchors, Black's exact words, yes. It's really alarming that my family watches Tucker Carlson's show once and then watches it on the replay because they feel that he is making the white nationalist talking points better than they have. And they're trying to get some tips on how to advance it. And that's Tucker Carlson in a nutshell. The advancing of white nationalist messages and talking points. And it shocks me that anyone can argue otherwise. I just, in my head, it just over and over. How, Sway? How? How can we allow this? How does he get away with this every night? There was an article I read on Business Insider uh about a lawsuit that Fox News won on Tucker's behalf. A woman, Karen McDougal, tried to sue Fox about Tucker Carlson slander on her name. And by the title, you can already tell the BS. Fox News won a court case by persuasively arguing that no responsible viewer takes Tucker Carlson serious. Think about that. No responsible viewer takes Tucker Carlson seriously. And by their definition of responsible viewer is someone that approaches Tucker Carlson with skepticism and doubt. That knows that what Tucker Carlson isn't saying is true. Most of what Tucker Carlson says is opinions and hyperbole, exaggerated viewpoints. His viewpoints. Nothing but opinions. Disguised as facts, though. He gets away with that by being on a Fox News station. But they clarify that Tucker Carlson's show isn't news. He's simply entertainment. He's an entertainer. Not a news anchor, not a journalist, an entertainer. Like Jay-Z says, it's only entertainment. Nothing he says is factual. And that's how Fox News gets away with him. That's how they skate that thin ice. By going to court and saying, Your Honor, we all know Tucker Carlson. Your Honor, nothing he says is real. It's all in his head. And people just pay to take him seriously. That's all. That's all they tune in to do, is just to see this man spout his opinions in news-like fashion. Fashion. On our news station. And that's how he gets to be the number one rated show on. Actually, they're not the number one rated channel or network right now. But he's still their number one show. Their prime time show. This is how he gets away with what he gets away with. Lying to the people. Radicalizing white people against America. Against other Americans. He is dangerous. By no means is Tucker Carlson a saint. I believe he knows what he's doing. He's intellectual about how he does it. He thought about how to get away with it. He's perfected his method. He is poison. And I've watched Tucker Carlson just to be safe and sure of my opinion. He takes maybe one fact, and up underneath that fact, he slides poison. The fact is, America's doing bad. Many Americans are down and out. Let me tell you why. It's because the immigrant, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it works. That's how it works. He opens you up to a fact and slides poison in. And those are the most dangerous type of lies. Because it's hard to untwine that poison from that fact. Some people can't separate it themselves. And then other folks that we know of have been indoctrinated into that culture of white supremacy. And when Tucker Carlson comes out, he just tells it like it is to them. So it's hard to get them to reflect on themselves, to really see the facts of the matter when they have that bias. And that's what Tucker Carlson is, man. He is just a white bias. How did Derek Black say it? Yes, he is he is a white nationalist talking point. That's what he is. And I just don't know. I honestly don't know. Folks can get him off TV. I'm pretty sure Fox fights hard for their golden boy. Then he pulls in the money, the viewership. I'm not sure uh even if the world came together to pull him off the air with respectable judgment, I'm pretty sure Fox would line the lawyers up. Like, he has the right to say what he wants to say, yes. But why are we propelling his opinion? Especially when Fox News has already illustrated and demonstrated and spoken on it that he doesn't talk facts. Yet he is their prime time guy. He's not late night. He's not evening or morning. Prime time. It's disgusting at this point, man. We know what he is. Well, I'm pretty sure I probably got more to say. Probably more to say later. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to do something, because he does something every day. So the Tucker Carlson conversation isn't over. Most likely a to be continued. But that's just my thoughts on it. You guys have a nice day, internet. And if it affects me, I'm gonna talk about it. So if you guys got anything that affects you and you want to talk about it, hit me up in the comments. And if it affects me too, I'll let you know my thoughts. All right, internet.